Don't be deceived by the sun, it was freezing. But I got a taste for the human flag, and now, whenever there's a little bit of sunshine, I run outside to the Calisthenics park where there is a ladder I can use and try and practice. I know I won't be able to in the winter because I don't have a ladder like this in my indoor gym, but I can already see the improvements and the increase of control that I have when doing this exercise. If you're interested to see my first session trying to do a human flag, then watch this video here. I'm now quite familiar with climbing up and getting into the vertical flag position. Then I can extend one leg, and when I'm comfortable in that position, I eventually twist my hips towards the camera like so and lower myself down before my elbow feels like it's going to snap. I spoke about this in my last video, that although I do lack obviously strength to get completely horizontal, my biggest limiting factor is my elbow at the moment because of my hypermobility in it. I do feel though that now that I've practiced getting into this position a few times, I can afford to push myself a little bit lower. I did film every attempt of the human flag, and yes, I did put it in this video, so I hope you're happy to re-watch each attempt that I do. But I know that I'm getting slightly better because I feel that I have more control with each attempt. And you can see here I can hold it for longer in a more horizontal position. Not completely horizontal, but you know, I'm getting lower each time. And for viewers who are hypervigilant, you may have noticed that I'm starting to film more at a left-hand angle purposely, so you can see my hands and my legs at the bar as opposed to directly straight on. I think it shows a clearer picture of how I'm actually hanging onto the bar for myself when I'm looking back at videos, but also for viewers when watching these. I'm more comfortable in this 45-degree angle, and I can hold it for a few seconds without feeling that I'm going to break completely. So at this point, I think it's important to be able to twist my torso towards the camera when I get to this 45-degree angle. And this is going to be my next challenge because, of course, as you twist yourself, the exercise becomes more challenging and you fall. Here's another angle of me still doing the human flag using the same hands where my left arm is always at the bottom. They do say with these asymmetric exercises that you should practice them on both sides, but I'm just about learning to do it on one side, and I was curious to see what it looked like from the back. Oh, I really like my shoulder muscle there. At this point, it had been about 20 minutes of me practicing the human flag, and you get fatigued. You get fatigued, guys, physically but also mentally, because you're thinking, come on, I need to lower myself more than that 45 degrees. You get into this toxic cycle where you always want to see progress with every single session that you're practicing a given skill, but that's not reality. The reality is there's always going to be ups and downs, and strength also oscillates according to different times of the day and how you feel and if you've slept well and all that stuff. So I leave the human flag behind and practice some animal movements. One of my favorite things to do when I'm doing an outdoor workout and I have the sun shining on me and the wind blowing are to move in these different manners where I can challenge myself in all different planes of motions and increase my mobility. These animal movements where I'm on all fours are specifically good for your pelvis and opening up your hips. I could feel my mood changing. There's something so beautiful about grounding and touching the floor with your hands. Despite the cooler weather, I felt warmed enough that I could even try doing a walkover. I hadn't done these in a while, and I know my arms need to open up more, but I was glad I managed to stand up. Sometimes I find it funny how I can get such a sense of achievement in doing movements and activities that a 5-year-old could do with ease. Sprinkling some runs when I can, especially during my lunch times in the middle of work, on the days I work. I usually manage a quick run between 6 to 10 kilometers, and today I smashed 9. And then I've just caught the running bug again, and here I am. My straight bar dips are feeling strong. All of the reps have been paying off, and today I decided to add 5 kilograms to my weighted belt. Along with the good, I want to show the bad too, and what was not working were my ring dips. Definitely not getting low enough. I'm just about hitting 90 degrees with my elbows, but they feel really difficult. So I only did about 2 sets of these, even though I think I had 4 sets in my program. You win some, you lose some. I still wanted to use the rings, and I decided to try some elevated L-sit holds using the rings. Now, of course, they become much more difficult from the instability that the rings give you. I filmed all of the sets I did with the rings on purpose so that you could see how my legs were dropping with each second that passes, because you get way, way more fatigued. Just look at my face. However, one of the beauties of being able to get instant feedback from watching my videos between each set is that I noticed my legs falling, and I purposely tried really hard to keep them horizontal. Ironically, I felt my last set was my most beautiful set, when my legs were horizontal and as straight as I could possibly have them. If you ever want to step up any exercises that you're doing on P-bars, just use the rings. I ended my session with back levers, or to be more precise, tucked back levers. Again, this is my second time trying these, just like the human flag, and I wanted to get that proprioception, I think it's called, that awareness of being in the correct position. Because every time I try to extend my legs a little bit more, you'll notice that my back slightly drops and I get a little bit of lordosis instead of a straight back, which is what I was trying to aim for. But again, you only see this through feedback and watching your videos constantly to understand how to place yourself in the correct position. And just like the human flag, this is a mixture of me lacking the strength to progress this, but also not really understanding where my body is at a given time. Notice the lordosis, the slight back dip as I try to extend my legs. Progressive overload, where I deliberately try to make the exercises that I am familiar with harder, has been one of the crucial factors in increasing my strength. Now, you've seen this previously in this video where I use the rings to force my muscles into action more, because I have to stabilize them to do the given exercise as opposed to using a dip bar, and that's a form of progressive overload. I've also done this here with the TRX, so you can see I now have a 5 kilogram plate that I've placed on top of my stomach in order to make this exercise a little bit more challenging. What's also more challenging is how to get in the correct position for this exercise. But we get there in the end. One of the things I corrected for when doing this exercise with a weighted plate that I think everybody should take into account if you do this yourself is the fact that because the weight is now concentrated on this plate, a lot of people tend to dip their back as opposed to keeping themselves horizontal. So you can see I try and keep myself as straight as I can whilst moving up and down in this exercise, and that's crucial to enable my muscles to function optimally when doing this exercise. Notice how I correct myself. Don't let the hips drop. Again, a nice straight back. I do one nice rep, and with that, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. That is hard. Walking around with a coat in my own house, wearing these fluffy little duck socks. Aren't they cute? You see, sometimes I'm super not healthy. I'm having crisps from breakfast. I know it's terrible. I mean, what's the time now? 10 a.m. and run out of fruit and all the good stuff like yogurt, eggs. I'm working from home, so I can't run out and just fancied some crisps. These are gazpacho crisps. If you have been watching my videos, you know how much I love gazpacho. Straight from the fridge. From my beloved Spain. España, te quiero. And yeah, Lidl sometimes does like Spanish like produce. And yeah, the flavour's just really good. I don't know what I describe it as. Sorry. It's just like smoky, almost a bit like Bacon Walker's meets prawn cocktail. I don't know, and I don't like either of those flavour crisps. I tend to eat this whole thing with actual gazpacho soup, like I dip it in the soup. I know, what am I like? But yeah, I'll just have a few because I fancied them. Famous last words. I did, in fact, eat the whole bag for breakfast. Not something I'd recommend, but then again, life is balance and we have ups and downs. I felt compelled, not because I needed to, just because I really fancied going on a run. So I completed a 10K and then I just ate something healthier afterwards. These little duck socks made me smile. Quack, quack. These little cod fillets fried in egg. I'm not one of these people who goes to the gym every day just because it's part of their routine. So the time that I would have gone to the gym on my rest days, I make sure that I hang out with my friends, have a bit of a social life, try a new activity. I haven't been bowling for years. The novelty of trying out something new always injects a little bit of fun and spontaneity to your otherwise normal week, and I think trying out activities that are not necessarily movement-based even can inject some fun and lightheartedness when you know there's no pressure to perform a certain way, or you're not training for an actual goal, you're just doing the activity for the sake of fun. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you want to support me and my little channel, please drop me a like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're interested in another week of workouts, then I've got loads of videos for you, like this one. Check it out. See you. Ciao.